Hello, everybody. Welcome back to One Leeds here. We need a bit more of a background. We need a bit more of a little bit more of an announcement, Brownie. But it looks like pending, mate. Connor Roberts is going to be done at Leeds United. Wanted to get your thoughts on it, mate. Wanted to get your thoughts on all this madness at the minute. Harry Suter, Chris Mepham, Worrell. I mean, Jesus Christ, mate. I don't know what's going on. It's as if they've just... I don't know. It's taken them a while, hasn't it? But eventually they're getting it sorted, it seems. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Listen, this hasn't just started today, has it? Let's be right.
No, you're hoping not.
I think social media has gone into a bit of a meltdown. With or without new signings, our squad's good enough to go up. We said last week, myself, you, Oscar and Gabe, that was Farke underperforming with what he had. So even if we didn't bring anybody in, which I still think there'll be someone on top of Connor Roberts. I've always thought we'll do two today. Just on the Worrell thing, I've just seen that he's heavily linked with Sheffield United, so he looks to be heading there, which is a bit of an odd one because obviously they're battling to stay up, and Notts Forest, there you go. So there's going to be a lot.
Who's your preference there? Because Graham's just sort of confirmed it, but he said that we're in for Suter. But mate, I'm a massive fan of him. But from your perspective, why would Leicester deal with us? They just wouldn't, would they? Like, that's something I just don't understand, really.
No, and again, FFP is playing a big part in a lot of clubs having to do bits and bobs. So you've seen the Leeds offload a couple million here, couple million there. It all adds up. So Leicester, let's be right, are they really in a promotion battle with us? It looks like they're going up regardless, to be honest. So for me, it was good. Was it the World Cup he played in for New Zealand? I think it was.
Australia won it.
Australia, it was brilliant. But even if he comes in, I still think the centre-half pairing is Rodon and Strike. So we're here desperate for signings. But would he play?
I'm thinking that with Roberts as well. I'm looking at Roberts and I'm like, we know how much he loves him. We know how much he loves Archie Gray in that position. Maybe it's just a fitness thing. Do you reckon it's just probably one of those things where he's a little bit worried about him breaking down, sort of a la Byram and Lewis Cook earlier?
Yeah, I think it is a factor of depth because that's one thing that's been labelled. Have we got depth in them areas? And we don't. We don't want to end this window weaker. I've seen people going, we're weaker than when we started. Well, I get that rhetoric a little bit, but the people that have gone out, let's be fair, are not making our first team. Some of them weren't even making our bench. So I do understand that we're weaker because we've let X, Y, and Z go. But would we have been happy if they were playing in our first team? Probably not.
I guess there's an argument now as well, isn't there, that if you're looking at, if you're kind of looking at that sort of next level of play, I mean, does Connor Roberts even get in ahead of Archie Gray right now? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those, isn't it? Like, I don't know. Does he go straight in there?
But the other thing, like you've said, is obviously I've seen a couple of the things come back to not signed because they've been injury, but we've signed Sam Byram that's been in and out through injuries. So I think it is just that strength in numbers, especially with the Championship being Saturday, Tuesday. I don't think Connor Roberts would be coming from Burnley to not play. I mean, did he not play last night? I think he came on against Man City last night.
Came on, didn't he? Yeah.
So he's playing in the Prem at the Etihad, so he's not going to be coming to Leeds to sit and make the numbers up. Although we saw Jed Spence come to Leeds and not play, so. It's Daniel Farke's been, how can we say it, strong in his opinions with how he managed Nonto, with how he's managed Creswell. What he says goes. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think there'll be two at least coming today.
Could you see Manuel Benson?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say too much, but I've just come off a phone. This is going to sound mental, but I've just come off the phone to the Burnley loan manager to bring a loan in for myself today. And he said he was very busy.
You should have asked him. We should have had the exclusive, Brownie.
Very busy. But I don't know. I think a lot's going to happen between now and 11 o'clock. I don't think it's panicking. I just don't think Leeds are in a position where they need to panic. The squad is good. Can it be better? Yes. But if we didn't bring anybody in today, Connor, do you still feel that we're good enough to go up?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, Brownie. I was saying like, and I don't know how it came across in a stream, but I was turning around and saying, look, my judgment is still on Daniel Farke at the end of this window, and it's on the 49ers and the players as well, because we are still the third, if not the second, third, whatever, best quality side in the division. So we should be going up, mate. We should be going up. So yeah, 100%, I'm confident on it. And that's
the signings, we should be in a position where we go up.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So
so what's going on at Ossett Town today then, Brownie? Is that where you're at today, or is it when?
It's Ossett United, Connor.
Ossett United, sorry.
They merged.
Any signings on the horizon, or is it all keeping it under wraps?
I think I'm bringing two in today, but we'll see. Hopefully one from Burnley, but we're not stipulated to a transfer window or anything like that. It's just happened to be transfer deadline day today. But,
it's so obvious though, isn't it, that they're having to do stuff like you said with FFP because it's loans, and we're getting rejected, aren't we? By obviously Forest wanted 6 million, by the way, for Worrell. Not sure about that one.
People keep going on about Forest and can you remember when they first came into the Prem? They signed about 46 players. We're going to catch up with them at some point.
Yeah.
So with Forest, it was one of them things where when you're on deadline day, the clubs know that you're panicking. So can they get an extra 2-3 million out of them? 6 million for a captain. Is there still their captain? I know he's not playing, but he was club captain when they got promoted. So
he just seems very Cooper, doesn't he? I feel if he was to come in, you'd look at Cooper maybe to Blackburn, wouldn't you, or something like that?
I was just about to say, would we have got 6 million for Cooper last year when we were in the Premier League? No. I'm unsure on Worrell's age, so obviously that might play a factor. I don't know how old Worrell is. I don't know if someone would be able to say in the comments and stuff like that. But
do you think it's a bit of a? I just want to get your thoughts, mate. Do you think it's a bit of a? Connor Roberts being nigh on 30 years of age. Are you sort of thinking to yourself, are we going to be getting the same Connor Roberts here? Who was obviously in that Dyche setup, where Dyche and the back four was regiment and they were quality.
Listen, like I said, he played last night. For Burnley against Man City. So obviously Vincent Kompany obviously still rates him. He wouldn't be bringing players on at the Etihad if he didn't have something. And listen, if 30 years old if 30 years of age is old, then dear me, I need to start picking up my pension because it's not old in the grand scheme of things, is it really? 30 years old. I think it just adds some experience to a young squad. If you look throughout the side, it's very young, isn't it? I mean, Rodon's not old, Gray's not old, Stroik's not old, Mellier's not old. I don't think Ampadu's that old. What else have we got? Somerville's not old, Rutter's not old. It's a very young squad, isn't it? When you look at it.
It is.
So bringing in a bit of experience is probably needed, to be fair. And we said all out throughout January, we need to bring in fullbacks. So I don't think we can grumble too much that when we do look to bring one in, we can't then start saying, is he too old? It's mental, isn't it? It's like, we want some. Oh, no, not that one. We can't go down that road.
To be fair, people saying he's 28. I thought he was 29 going on 30. So it's not, I mean, like you say, Brownie, man, I'm a man in peak condition, 30 years of age, and you are obviously, we won't disclose your age, but a little bit older than me.
One of our good friends who we know from Burnley, who some people might not like hearing, he's 29, 30, because obviously he's your age, Connor, who's my brother's age. Would people say he's too old? Would they be happy with signing him? Of course they would. So I don't think 30 is old. So if he's 28, then I think it's prime age, to be fair, 28.
Does he come in and start for you straight away, or does you have to like sort of displace Archie?
Good question. For me personally, I've just kept in the last 2 games 2 clean sheets, different level completely. But I'm looking at bringing in a centre back. Do I put him in Saturday when we've kept 2 clean sheets? No matter what level you play at, you've got questions to ask and answer. If the player is better than what you've got playing from a higher level, does he come in and command a starting place? We saw with Jed Spence, that didn't happen. But obviously Jed Spence was injured at the start of the season, I think. So I don't think he really got the opportunity to go straight in. It'd be a tough one to just chuck Archie Gray straight out. It'd be a big call. Obviously, the next big call is in a couple of weeks when Stroik's back. Does Ampadu go back into midfield, and then do you chuck Gruev out or come at?
But it's like when they're looking at mate. It's like when they're looking at like Godfrey now, and they're looking at obviously Mepham and we're looking at Worrell, players like that. These are, as we know right now, they're Premier League players. Really, when you're looking at it, so if they're to just, I don't know, if they're to just kind of, they're not going to come to Leeds United and
not play. But this is what I mean when we're saying about we need signings. We're now making signings from Premier League clubs, and we're asking ourselves, did they get in? So our team can't be that bad if we're questioning whether they get into our side. That's where I'm at, really. Do we need bodies? Yeah, because, I mean, Thorpe Arch is like A&E. It has been for 4 or 5 years. Every few weeks there's someone different injured. But if we're having to question whether these Premier League players that are coming down start, then we can't be too far away with what we've got.
Can you sell that? Can you sell that to a player? Can you say, like, obviously, now you're looking at other bodies and you're looking at bodies from like Burnley and all this sort of stuff. Can you sell to a player that, look, you might not start straight away because we're 2 wins into, like you've just said, but you'll get your chance? Or do you kind of have to say to a Harry Souttar or a Mepham, a Worrell, whatever, do you have to say, look, you're going to be in, don't worry, you're going to be in, it's just going to take a little bit of time?
I think it's difficult because I don't think you can guarantee any player game time. I don't think you can guarantee any player that you start, because I think you're setting yourself up a bad precedent, because if he's not playing well, how can he guarantee to be starting? But on the flip side, if I was Connor Roberts personally, I'd be thinking, well, why am I going to Leeds to sit on the bench when I can sit on the bench at Burnley? I can sit on the bench.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
I can sit on the bench at Burnley in the Prem and played half an hour against Man City last night. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand. So there must be some dialogue. I think that's why the likes of Leeds and Southampton missed out on Carvalho from Liverpool, because couldn't guarantee him playing. He went to Hull because he's gonna play, and at the end of the day, he's not going to sign for a Championship team. Is Carvalho? So I think it depends on who you are and what the purpose of the loan deal is. Is the Roberts loan deal with an obligation to then buy? Because if it is, then you can kind of blend it a little bit, because you don't. With the Carvalho one, it was he needs game time, then he's coming back to us. Whereas with other players, a little bit different. Depends on the player and why the loan's happening, I think.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of, yeah, that's a good point, actually. You never really think about that when it comes to it in terms of Carvalho's going back. Likelihood is Ryan Giles, who signed for them at left back, he's going to be going back, let's be honest. Yeah. But when you're looking at these sort of domino effects.
Ryan Giles, could we have guaranteed him play? No. So he wouldn't come to us because he's going on loan to play. So
is that still a miss for you, though? Is it still a miss for you that we're not going for a left back? For me, it is still. I'm still a little bit missed on that.
I mean, I don't think we could have asked much more. I've said the quality in the league is so lower that you can get away with Firpo playing. The only question mark for Firpo is the length of time he's going to be fit.
Yeah,
that's the only problem. If you could say he's fit and he's going to play every game, I don't think many people would curl their nose up with what we've seen from Firpo in the last month. He's been brilliant, and
yes,
we can't argue with that. He has.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Well, do you need to jet off, my friend? Are you?
I'm all right. When I need to ball, I'll give you the heads up, mate.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
Well, we've got someone in the back as well who I know you always like to see his face as well. So we've got the brash American here as well to join us for this one. It's early in the morning there, isn't it, mate? We've
the sun's barely up, yeah, man.
I'm just looking because there's been a few questions about whether Connor Roberts is cup tied. I'm just trying to find out who did they play in the FA Cup.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was having a quick search.
We could do a new masterclass with Brownie. Look, he's got the board back there and everything.
We'd learn more than that Dunst told us the other day as well.
I want him to break down his red card match, Brownie.
Who did they play? Oh, don't, mate. Oh, they played Tottenham in the FA Cup, and Connor Roberts didn't play, so he's not cup tied.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one, but it feels like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm a little bit like, why can't we get these things done a little bit earlier? But it does look at, like Brownie was just saying, Gabe, like it does seem to be a lot of the time it's what Burnley are doing. You know, Burnley are now bringing in a right back. They're bringing in a Belgian right back, and now, now Leeds can go for that Connor Roberts sign. And you know, we look at Harry Souttar has come out of absolutely nowhere, but apparently he said in the last couple of days he wants to leave. He wants first team minutes. So it does, and this is where I'm critiquing myself a little bit. Sometimes it's like, well, the club needs to be prepared, but at the same time, it does feel a little bit like that domino effect happens with, like Brownie's been saying with Ossett, it happens with other clubs.
Yeah, the biggest thing that stands out to me and has throughout this whole process are the comments that Farke has made, and he's come out and sort of really put it on Front Street again. He said, what was it yesterday? If there's a perfect fit, then we do it. If there isn't, then we won't. It's difficult to bring in players who will improve us. If you bring in a player in January, he has to help immediately. These players are pretty rare. It's difficult to make these deals happen. When you have a pretty tight group, you also have a lot of spirit and unity. Every player is needed. This is my experience. Sometimes unity and spirit is more important than individual quality. I can't guarantee something that's going to happen in 24 hours. What I can guarantee is we're trying until the last hour to make it happen. So it sounds like, again, you've got to be good enough to help out the starting 11, which you've already alluded to numerous times. You have to be the right character type. You have to be at the right degree of fitness to help us right away. And we've already discussed, Connor, earlier this week about, for Farke, the level of fitness he wants isn't just match fit. They have to come in to meet his fitness standards, which sometimes takes a couple of weeks. So it's one of those things that perfect. There's a lot of criteria to meet, and it seems like he's happy with the squad. I still think we have depth issues, but if this is what the manager thinks and he's not panicked about it, then I would trust him.
On that, Gabe, we panicked. I think as fans as well, me included, I think we always want a shiny new toy.
Yeah.
We always want something through the door that we can all get all giddy and excited about. But if you look at our recent Januaries, we were all buzzing about John Kevin Augustin. He was a January signing. Oh, we've got a new signing. Played about 19 minutes. Then last year, Rutter, he was a January signing, was he not?
Yeah.
Didn't work. Yeah, he's been brilliant this season, but last season, it didn't look like he had his boots on the right feet half the time he was on the pitch. So I think you're right. There's a fine line between bringing someone in for the sake of it, just to appease the fans, and actually bringing someone in who's going to help the first team.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I think depth-wise, full-back area, certainly, we are a little bit light.
Very thin.
But other than that, in other areas, we were just saying them, Gabe, before, who'd you drop? Who'd you take out to put these players in? Like, Ampadu's going to have to go in. Ampadu's going to have to go into centre midfield. It'd be more than likely Gruev come out. And I think that's so harsh on Gruev. Since he's come in, we've been dominating games. We've done really well.
Looks like Worrell's going to be going Sheffield United. It looks like Godfrey. I think we've just mentioned it, haven't we? Godfrey's that will stall, but Graham said that player is keen to leave Leicester in terms of Harry Souttar, but Leicester are going to be hesitant. That's going to be the problem, isn't it? It's going to be Leicester. I think Leicester, they did it with us with Luke Thomas initially. Do you remember when he went to Sheffield United over Leeds? It's because they're just not. It's going to be difficult for Leeds to, and especially the problem is now, surely, if Leeds are only offering loans, that's why Worrell didn't work. It's just loan. Certain clubs are probably going to think, look, we want him to go. We need capital. We need money.
Connor, you mentioned too about the loans the other day. And this isn't a criticism, but when you send Jez Spence back after 8 games, and let's be honest, the only reason Gruev is playing is because we've had injuries in center half, and Ampadu got put back in. in that position. Because the reality is that Farke likes to make substitutions in the 80th minute around. So you're not getting a lot of game time for these guys. He's not a heavily rotating type of manager. So if you're a club or a player looking for a loan opportunity to get more minutes, you got to think, okay, if Willie Nanto and Jaden Anthony, and Jaden Anthony started 3 Premier League matches before he's come over, and his opportunities have been limited. Listen, again, that's not a criticism of Farke. You're just looking at it from another perspective of, is this the place I want to go on loan? Where am I going to break in the team? And the answer is, you're not going to break in over Archie unless he gets hurt. Junior Firpo seems to be the choice left back. Even a promising young center half like Charlie Cresswell doesn't get in the team over a central midfielder. There just aren't a lot of places to slot in. So if you're a loan doesn't make sense. And a permanent signing for depth at this level, I can see why maybe both Farke and the 49ers are saying, look, we're not going to like put us at the fringes of FFP for somebody that may be totally useless at the next level. So it makes sense. I share the anxiety. I do think we're thin, but for me, and I've kind of said it throughout, I just didn't expect a lot to happen this window because of the Farke factor, the FFP factor, and the reality is that this is a really strong championship squad, and I just don't see a lot of people improving it.
And I think you bang on, mate, with the fact that if you're a player in the Premier League who needs to get out on loan,
not here, yeah.
The Leeds team is that good. There's nothing to guarantee you play, and this is why I mean I've just completely not agreed with everyone who's been saying, "Oh, Leeds aren't doing anything. It's so quiet." No, we did that in the summer. We just announced things on the day without people knowing it.
Right.
It wasn't like Rad was on. It was like a fanfare with, we're going to go for this player, and hints getting dropped left, right, and centre. We have done our business quietly, and I think that's been the same throughout January. But like Gabe says, it's a hard sell to come to Leeds if you're going to get game time, because when you look throughout the side, there's not really a weakness.
That's what I've said. That's what I said, mate. When you look at Brooks, who's gone to Southampton on that right hand side, they had a right wing slot, hence why they're off of Manuel Benson. You know, you look at central midfield for Leicester, needed a central midfielder. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you look at Ipswich, Caden Jackson is not good enough. George Hurst is out for a long period of time. So they've gone according to reports, they're getting Kiefer Moore, which I think is a really good signing. But they've all got gaps in that first team. I agree with you right now. If Firpo hadn't have had the form that he's had, and we'd have had just consistent injuries over the past sort of 4 or 5 games with Byram, you'd have gone, surely it's left back, surely. But as of right now, it's a really, really difficult sell for anyone, because I said yesterday, you're selling the bench. You're not selling a starting sign at 11, really. So it's difficult.
And I'm just glad that we still are doing business, because I remember the year we stayed up in the Premier League. I remember going to West Ham away middle of the month, and we beat them. Harrison scored a hat-trick and we beat them. And then for the remainder of the month, everybody was like, oh, we don't really need any signings.
Yeah.
Because we're all right. And then January sort of like died a death, whereas now we're still doing well. We've been winning, and we're still looking to add 1 or 2. So I'm happy. I think we will bring 2 in today.
Where do you think? Do you think it's going to be centre back and left? I think centre back and right back. I
genuinely don't think we need a centre back.
But do you know what's quite nice about it as well? Like I'd genuinely be like, if they're going to go for Manuel Benson, I'm like, go on, even though it doesn't make sense, just bring him in.
Like, who do you drop? Who do you drop to play him?
Well, especially if they're signing Nonto and they're putting him down on a contract. You've got James starting, you've got Nonto, and then you've got Benson. It's like, why?
I think that's really on itself. He's gone from, and obviously we had the discussion about Farke and his man management. If he manages to tie him down to a new deal, he's gone from alienating himself, handing in a transfer request on the day of the West Brom game, training on his own, not even playing.
Yeah.
New contract.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, that.
Yeah. 100%.
What I could see potentially, and look, again, we've been saying this for weeks, right? We're talking about what we think Farke thinks right now. Not like, I still think that we're weak we have 2 left backs that are very injury prone, and one whose form, I know this division is a lot worse. So I think a lot of it has to do with that. But with Junior Firpo, his form looks good, but we haven't played a lot of elite competition, and you never know what's going to happen, right? But that be that as it may, and I've made my opinions known about the right back position too. So everyone, it's pretty clear that I think we should make a signing to shore up those positions in the event of injury. That said, I'm almost thinking if you can only make one signing right now, injure Daniel Farke. So knowing that he moves Ethan Ampadu into the center half position, knowing that Charlie Cresswell and Liam Cooper are not going anywhere as far as we know, I would say he needs to sign another central midfielder.
What, today?
Yeah. So, and here's why I say that. So let's think about how he sees the players. He sees Archie Gray as a right back. That's his starting right back. He sees Ethan Ampadu as his right now. He's the number 2 center half because Pascal's hurt. Who knows how long that's going to last? So you effectively have
2 weeks.
Okay, cool. But you effectively have Pascal. You have Kamara and Gruev playing in that in the dual pivot role. Who comes in off the bench if one of them goes down?
Well, if we get Connor Roberts, Archie Gray is slots straight.
Right.
Into
So okay, then maybe that's.
I know what I mean. You're moving people around.
So that's the only thing that we need cover most for that central midfield position. So if that happens by bringing in another right back, so you can play Archie Gray as a central midfielder, then fine. Then I'm happy with that. But that's what I mean. I think that's the thinnest position now that Charlie Cresswell's at least back on the team sheet. Liam Cooper won't be going anywhere, so we do have depth at the center half position. I understand the logic. I don't necessarily love the conclusion, but of the outside back positions. But you're right. If we bring in Connor Roberts, that does shore up central midfield for me. But I think we don't have enough coverage there right now.
A little bit of an update as well. Sensi expected to go to Leicester. Seems Leicester preferred to do a deal for other players. Suter to Leeds United, not happening because Leicester don't want to improve a promotion rival, which is exactly what we had with Luke Thomas. So yeah,
slightly. We wouldn't send anybody to them.
No, we wouldn't. Yeah, and it's interesting how they are going for it though, aren't they? Centre back seems like it's us and Sheffield United going for a lot of the centre back options really.
And we saw this with Russell Martin when he was at Norwich. He phased him out. He's not having Cooper. He's clearly not having Cooper.
No.
But he's having him as a depth piece. He's not going to move him on.
If we brought in a centre half, do you see him moving him on today?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, if we do.
I would definitely. Yeah. It's interesting how Roberts as well, there's no obligation or option to buy him at the end of the year. It just seems a straight loan, which has been reported. But I mean, I do think that's, there's always, do you not think with loans, it's always a bit weird, Brownie? There's always an option to buy. If you get a loan for someone for 12 months or 6 months, like if they're good enough, you're going to exercise an option to buy him at the end of it. It doesn't have to have an option to buy in the contract. So if he's good enough, then Leeds will go out and get the deal done, won't they?
Yeah, and again, it also depends on what league you end up in next season. So, would Connor Roberts be a starting fullback in the Premier League if Leeds went up? Or would he be an option to stay at Leeds if we were in the Championship? I think it's a really tricky one when you're going for promotion, when you're trying to sign players, because what works in the Championship won't necessarily work in the Premier League.
Where would you be satisfied? Where would you be satisfied today? Would you be satisfied with a fullback, and then would you be satisfied? Would that be it, or do you think to yourself, "No"?
I'm amazed Gabe hasn't brought up bringing in a goalkeeper yet. I still would, but
yeah,
I didn't realize until literally just now that I was asleep when it was announced that Connor Roberts. I thought we were just linked to him. So, that's good. It's a good signing.
Yeah.
I think it would be Connor Roberts +1. As everyone we've seen on social media having meltdowns, I don't think people will really care who it is as long as there's a new signing. That's the feeling that I've got over the last few weeks from social media. I'm not saying people just want shiny new toys, but everybody's got that little niggly feeling that we're not as strong as we went into January, which I get because a fair few players have gone out. Obviously, Ayling being one. So I guess we are weaker. So as long as we were bringing in quality players, I don't think people will particularly be bothered. Because like we said right at the start, whether we sign anybody today or not, that squad should go up.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Yeah, it should.
Whether it's automatic or playoffs, that squad should go up in the Championship.
Yeah, it's more than good enough. So, and that's why I think loads of people are saying, look, we'll judge the 49ers and the San Francisco 49ers and Daniel Farke at the end of the game, because he needs to be judged on how good this team is, and that's going to be the interesting, sort of transpiring thing with it, really. Mr. David Brown, do you need to get off, my friend?
Yeah, I'm peace out.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. If we can catch you on later on, just let us know, and have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, I'll be able to, mate. Yeah.
All right, mate. See you in a bit. There you go. Ossett United. I said Ossett Town.
I've been saying it as well. He's already corrected me too by saying it.
Yeah.
I like I like saying Ossett Town more. By the way, Connor, are you bringing the goatee back?
No, mate. I just need a shave.
Yeah, it's deadline day. Everyone's getting stressed out. This is getting longer as well. It's getting a bit feral.
Yeah. No, mate. Let's get through a few of the comments as well. Let's have Ben Rama in Leon for medical. Have you ever seen Zovic, by the way, on Twitter? This guy is an absolute demon on Twitter. Yeah. He's hilarious.
I have seen Zovic.
Yeah, he's got a good account. Potentially, they could go for none, so he hasn't signed anything yet. Then make room for Benson. Ronnie Kipperin says, I think it'll be Robertson, another signing. I think that's the Super Joe. The catch-up is it looks like we're about to sign Connor Roberts, but it also looks like Harry Souttar is staying at Leicester City for now. Looks like Ben Godfrey and Joe Worrell are going to Sheffield United. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still a little bit like, come on, let's get another centre back in. It'd be nice to get another centre back in. I think we've mentioned several times, haven't we, Gabe, that position is something that Leeds just I think we have to do. But Brownie's bang on, and this is what we've been saying as well for a long time. You can't. You've got to sell it. You've got to sell it. It's like anything in life. You've got to be able to sell it. And at this moment in time, I know we're going over what we've already said, but selling that Leeds United project is going to be really difficult if Pascal Struijk's back in 2 weeks' time.
So I tweeted this out 2 days ago. Farke has been clear about two things. He likes the squad he has, will do smart business if an opportunity is there without disrupting the team. And people came back and you muppet, you moron. But it's exactly what Farke has come out and said again. I struggle sometimes with these to not just say the same things over and over when it comes to like a simple opinion. But the fact of the matter is, if we want real quality, we're going to have to go to the loan market, and it's just difficult right now, right? And as far as Farke is concerned, we have the cover at center half position. As far as Farke is concerned, now that with Connor Roberts, we probably have the outside back coverage we need. I think the only real thinness we have is at the number 10 position, maybe. And I suppose we're probably waiting to see what happens next season, because it's clear that he thinks Pirro can play the 10, so at this level.
But once again, as well, like, I don't think it's a bad option doing the Roberts thing, because if you're just getting him on loan, because I think as well, Gabe, as well, it's really difficult because there's so many factors in it. If you're buying players now, if we're buying a player right now in January, not only do they have to be good for a shout out Joe, not only do they have to be good for the next 6 months, Gabe, they have to be good in the Premier League as well. We have to be signing players, and players are only going to want 3-4 year contracts at the club. So we're going to have to put out big money, big valuation, obviously, to pry them away from the club, dependent on the player. But also, you've got to be, Gabe, this all comes back to the manager. Is the manager going to still be in his job? Presumably, obviously, will be if we got to the Premier League, but the player who comes in has to be long term. They have to fit his system. They have to be adaptable to other people's systems as well. So it's so much you have to consider, and that is where I sympathise with the 49ers really in going out and getting players. It's a difficult one. It really is.
You're 100% right. Do you have someone bringing you coffee?
It's not my missus, it's my mum, but yeah.
Oh, man, the room service around here.
Yeah, it's good.
I would love a coffee right now. I think you're right. For what we need in the season we're in, Connor Roberts is a good signing, really good signing. Even so, like, I'd be more confident with him just getting game time to give Archie a little bit of a break, so he doesn't have to rush back from injury or risk re-injury. It gives me a lot more confidence for in that position. I saw that we had There have been rumors about Sam Byram getting hurt, although there's nothing confirmed by
Yeah,
Farke or the club.
it's
So
been-
you never know. It could just be some Twitter edgelord. But so if you just stepping back, you think, okay, so we've got rid of Luke Ayling, which I know hurts people, but he wasn't playing. Leo Yelda, who's never got a sniff in. Who else went out the door?
Leo Yelda, Spence.
Spence played
Ayling.
8 games, so we don't so we don't really know what we had there. So yeah, we lost a little depth, but we shored it up with Connor Roberts, who at this point in his career, you have to say is a better option than Luke Ayling.
100%. That's a really good point. I mean, we should really touch on that when we're looking at caliber of player.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to say in the video earlier on. It's you're leveling up, aren't you? You're getting better than what you were. And when you're looking at someone like Roberts in comparison to an Ayling, you are leveling up there. I think it's what we've said, Gabe. The thing is, what we all need to remember is the squad's good enough. And that's why I'm obviously going to be judging the manager at the end of the season. You're going to be judging the manager at the end of the season. The chat will as well. We're all going to judge the manager because the squad's good enough, more than good enough to get top those 3 spots. But you enhance that in January as well. And with the profiles that you bring in, they've got to fit in, but they've got to be better as well. That's why I really, Gabe, I thought we were going to struggle. I thought we were going to struggle bringing anyone in because, as we keep saying, boring rhetoric, but they say it always comes back in that circle. So how do you sell that to a player? So Roberts, I think, is a good signing. People talking about Dummett from Newcastle, that would be a mental one, really. But I guess Paul Dummett, left back, can play left back, centre back, probably an option there. Dummett is injury ravaged, but I guess it'd be someone, Gabe. If Dummett was to come in, it'd be someone who comes in and just sort of sits on the bench and maybe would be happy sitting on the bench. Don't know, but yeah,
maybe
an interesting one.
But to your point again, you have to think if you're a winger like Benson, right? And you're looking in the team, you're like, well, I remember what Willie Nanto was doing last season in the Premier League. He's not playing. I've seen Jaden Anthony play in the Premier League, play well, and I've seen him when he's come on for Leeds. He had a really good goal the other day. He's not getting in the starting lineup. Where am I going to fit into this team? And why would I come there on a loan for 6 months? And this is the thing. Like once again, this is not a criticism, but if you're not a heavy rotation manager, there are plenty of managers out there. They're like, hey, you'll play good half the games, even if there's stiff competition. I like to rotate my squad. You can see, Farke doesn't do that, so it's hard to make that promise. It's. I think Farke feels. I guess I'm happy that he feels confident in his squad. He's taken teams up twice, and so that would be a positive sign, right? Yeah, it looks about as bleak as Grimsby in my flat right now. However, the sun is finally starting to peek through.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael, shout out to Mike Pollard. I saw his comment there. Benson would be useful, but the question is, would he come knowing that he's not going to be first choice?
I think this is the first time we've ever had like a lot of these conversations when it comes to Leeds United in January. It feels like I think there's a rhetoric right now that's going round. Oh, everyone's been unreasonable. Everybody's been irrational. I actually think that's rubbish. Yeah, I think for the first time in a long time, you are getting a lot of Leeds fans. Hold on a minute. Room service.
Hey, coffee time.
There we go.
I'm genuinely envious, although yours is probably frothy and.
It's not. It's a tea, mate. It's a cup of tea.
It's a tea. All right, then I'm less envious now.
Sorry, I've just become even more English in your eyes. But keep me on topic, mate. What was I talking about?
We were talking about we're in a position where people are spinning a narrative that it's either all irrational, that wanting new signings is a thing, and it's not necessarily.
Yeah, I know, but I do think a lot of the fans have been really rational. I think you're getting a lot of people at the minute, like, I mean, Brownie was coming on there and saying like he's seen it on Twitter, and maybe it is more of a Twitter thing, but I'm seeing a lot of it where it's very much fans have been really rational. It's like you're looking at the player's situation, you're looking at the club situation, you're looking at the whole atmosphere around Leeds United, and you're obviously looking at the atmosphere around that particular club that has the player and is debating loan in the mouth. I think there's been a lot of rational takes this window. I think, and that comes back to, Gabe, A, the fact that we're winning. I think that's a big thing. I think the fact that we're winning, but B, it's the fact that we have a squad right now, as we keep saying, is more than good enough. More than good enough to go. So I think if me and you were sat here on a deadline day stream, 11 p.m. GMT, and we were looking at it, and we just said at the end of it we'd not signed anyone, I think we'd be sat here and going, that's disappointing. But at the end of the day, squad's still good enough.
You know what's a good analogy for our team, though? It's sort of like we've built this Death Star. And tell me you've seen Star Wars.
I just sometimes forget what a geek you are. But yeah, cool.
Here we are. But we built this Death Star, and all it would take to blow it up is one missile going through one tube. Do you know what I mean? Which is what happens in the first film.
Yeah.
I guess it's 2 missiles that go in. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
What do you call a collection of Star Wars fans? Have they got like a name? Like, you know, like Star Trek, it's like Trekkers or whatever. Have you got like a name, you guys?
I think it's LOSERS. I think is how you spell that.
LOLERS. Lollers.
No, LOSERS.
Okay, I thought it was.
He got it.
I thought it was VIRGINS.
that as well. I go out into other fandoms to make myself a man. No, I'm just kidding. But no, the point is you have this really big, dangerous machine that could be done by one small crack. And for me, that crack is if there's an injury to a guy like Ethan Ampadu or Joe Rodon, this team is in a lot of trouble. And I think that's where some of the fan anxiety comes from. What we want is 3-4 different fail safes. We want to be able to say, okay, well, if Junior Fropo comes out of the team, we're going to have a good left back stepping in that's also not injury prone. And I think that's the fear of Sam Byram. He's played well, but he is very injury prone. That's why even one tweet, one little troll can send the team into a frenzy, because that's all it would take. If there's an injury to Ampadu or Gruev, if Gruev went down with an injury right now, I think we'd be in a very precarious position. So there's a lot of strength, but it's built on these, like, it's sort of like those guys at the gym that are really huge and have these tiny, skinny legs. And you're sort of like, you just, just get them at the knees. Yeah, they're going to go down really hard. And that's what it feels like. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there's a logic to the anxiety that it seems like, we are a very strong player for player. And if we look down at most of the clubs in this division, they don't have huge depth. They have players in, but they don't have like squad depth to come in and match the players that are coming out. And I think we as Leeds fans want to see potentially equal strength come in. Right now at this level, it's not really realistic, but I understand why we want it.
Yeah, 100%. And like as well, Gabe, you look at the depth, and I'm not 110% on this, but if you look at the depth, you look at Firpo and Byram, right? I don't think they are reliable, dependable, but in terms of quality in the Championship, that is probably our weakest area. I'd probably say it was our weakest area. If any other club in this division was to have those two in terms of depth options, I should say, plural, they'd be over the moon with that. And that is our weakest option. That's how we've got to look at it, really, as a fan base. But there's a lot of people looking at Paul Dummett. And we've mentioned this several times on here, that, Dummett being linked with Leeds. But for me, Gabe, why would you sell Leo Yelder and bring in Paul Dummett?
You wouldn't like.
You're right. You've been distracted.
Well, no, I'm looking up Paul Dummett. First of all, I can't wait to hear our fan base say Dummett if he comes.
I need to change this round as well. Maybe I need to start saying dependable, reliable. I do go reliable, dependable all the time. I need to get that on a t-shirt. I need to get that on a t-shirt, really, don't I? If anybody's got some sort of like catchphrases that I say just constantly, please, because I do. I've got my mates tell me all the time. I say the same things when I'm describing players. So yeah, get it in the comment section below. But reliable, dependable is on Connor bingo, 100%.
You're going to be in a nursing home someday, asking the nurse if she's doing fantastically well.
Press resistant. 5-yard pass.
Yeah, press resistant is the one I brought up. I was like, yeah, you love press resistant.
Dynamism.
Paul Dummett is 32 years old. He's played one match this season. You don't let a early 20s player with a lot of upside promise potentially like Leo Yelda go if you're just planning on bringing Paul Dummett in. Although I do think it'd be more entertaining to hear Yorkshire accents say Paul Dummett all day. I think that would be more fun for me.
What the name?
Yeah.
Paul, no, wait, how would I say it? Without trying to put on my phone voice. Paul Dummett. Paul Dummett. That's how I'd say, yeah. Paul Dummett. If I was putting on a phone voice, I'd go, Paul Dummett.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Why have I got so many? Look at this. Look at this hit list of things that I say all the time. I don't think I can't remember the last time I said stupendous, Jaggy Babs. I don't think I said that.
Me either, but I want you to start saying stupendous.
Yeah. Joe's got me nailed here. Pragmatism, dynamism, press resistant, square pegs. Did I say square pegs?
Yeah, you do say it's not like one of the things that you say
that nailed Ryan's
in the
nailed it.
repertoire.
System based player. I actually think I say system based player more than press resistant.
No, that's not true. You absolutely say press resistant more. These guys are right.
Okay, fair enough. Blueprint, that's a good one. Blueprint.
Profile as well. Yeah, you say profile. We need that. Is he the right profile? No, for me, no.
Bunch of weirdos. I think I've said that a couple of times this Windows. One syllable too many. Yeah. Versatility. Good one. That's another.
I appreciate. Listen, we have a devoted group of subscribers here that know your catchphrases.
Guys, I'm artillery.
Yeah.
Robert, yeah. I've got.
If they're not dunking on my haircut, they're bringing up the phrase that you say constantly.
Do you know what? I'm absolutely. I love this fan base. They really are tuned in with what I say. Either that, or I say the same things every day and they can't miss it, which is probably that. It's fascinating sentiment. All right, I'm going to stop now. I need to stop reading it out. John H with "I'm worried."
Oh yeah, the amount of WhatsApps I get, Gabe. Got to tell you, pal, I'm worried.
Yeah,
I'm worried.
Yeah, at least you guys know it's for show. I think the thing is, Gabe, with a lot of people on this app, they think it's fake. They think it's staged. With me, I am 100% as I am on camera, as I am just in general life. But
I appreciate that they're not all negative phrases.
That's good.
That's good.
Marauding. I just love the specific ones like in and around us. That's brilliant.
You do players say that though.
Do you know what people haven't said as well? They haven't said 100%. I say 100% a lot. SofaScore. Yeah, mate, you got to check out Sofa. That's a sponsor, mate. I've got to say SofaScore. By the way, check out check out SofaScore. Links in the description below. But yeah, Gabe, I think as of right now, I think if we were looking at the morning today, and obviously it's very, very early where you are, but if you're looking at it and saying straight off the bat, Connor Roberts is a Leeds player.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice, isn't it? Does it mean that he's going to be? Could he be involved in the squad tomorrow? That's going to be interesting.
I can't imagine that's going to happen. And with the way Farke likes to integrate players, he tends to have them out just training for a week or two.
Yeah.
What are you smiling at now?
Just some of them go.
Connor's like a shark in the wild. If he smiles and shows his teeth, there's either food to be eaten or something that's some weakness.
I've got a really sinister humor and just start giggling at things. Anyway, Daniel, legend of the channel, always contributing very highly. Hey Connor, I'm over in Connecticut this summer. I'd love to meet Gabe in Boston as my Gabe. There you go, Daniel. Don't ask me, mate. Daniel. Yeah. Don't ask me. Ask this guy. This guy's a celebrity. Just get in contact. If he's not writing books, he wants to be signing autographs for Leeds fans. So yeah, man, shout out. There you go. Connecticut, is that close to you, Gabe?
It's close, and it's close enough. Yeah. And obviously Boston is a place that many New Englanders go to quite frequently. So reach out to me at Gabe the American on Twitter.
Yeah. Why do Leeds always have crazy January transfer window? Says Ty. It does feel like that.
Ty? I think it's because we have a fan base that's very, very passionate. So it always feels more. When you got to look at what's actually happened and hasn't happened for years, it's not really crazy, but it sort of feels that way because our fan base is so dialed in.
Is it? Do we all feel a little bit nicer? A little bit? Do you feel you'd feel a little bit more exciting, Gabe, if we went out, and I can't help it, but going out and getting an attacking player when they come in and they do the compilations and they always do the sort of like sexy reveals. Leeds United do a video and it's like, oh, he looks good. Do you sort of wish we'd go out and get an attacking player just so we get that thrill on deadline day?
I'm going to answer your question with a question that I've just been inspired from via the chat. What would you do if they announced that Mark Rocca's coming back to the club?
Oh,
look at his face, everybody. You can
Don't
go
make me
back and find
dream.
the clip where Connor looks into. He's got his hair all done up. He looks into the camera and goes, "Mark Rocca,
Baby, you're back. You're back,
Mark
baby.
Rocca,
I've always been beside you.
a fabulous player."
I couldn't love my girlfriend or my mother like I love you, Mark Rocker.
Clip it up. Clip it up. I have often said it was about both you and Oscar. It was with you and Mark Rocca and Oscar about Jed Spence. Everyone deserves someone to look at them like you look at those two guys.
Oh, Mark. Come back to me soon, Mark. Maybe I should just get a Bettis shirt. Maybe
Although
that's
Oscar, if you're watching this, Oscar backpedaled on his Jed Spence love. It didn't take him long.
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh, I don't think he's right for the system." Actually,
he does
like,
that, you know, Oscar.
Yeah,
He does backpedal when things go wrong. The little, you know what.
And fair enough. Look, when you're in love and it doesn't work out for you, sometimes you got to convince yourself it was never going to work anyway. I get it.
Yeah, true. Matt J says if we don't win Friday, I think we'll all be annoyed again. Well, yeah.
Yeah, Matt.
That's how it works.
Truer words were never spoken on this channel. I'll be on here moaning and groaning about Farke again, and it'll all be back to square one.
It is true. It's very, very true. What would be more entertaining would be a round of name pronunciation bingo between Brownie and Oscar.
It's nice to see Brownie happy, isn't it?
Do you know what? If you guys, have missed that, Gabe's had a little bit of a watch. If you guys have missed that, do you know what you've just had on the One Leeds Fan Channel? You've just had a manager on deadline day going about his business, and the guys just bloody spoke to Burnley, Gabe. I mean, when Mr. David Brown comes on this channel, we have our opinions. You say one thing, I say one, that we disagree with each other, we agree with each other, but we've actually got an Ossett United manager on the channel. Where else do you get that, Gabe? You just don't, do you?
You don't. Dave Brown. I got to tell you, though, after a full, we're coming up to like my year and a half mark on the show, are we? And,
we are. Gabe, we're not doing anything for you. Sorry.
Listen, I'm not asking for a celebration, and these lot wouldn't give me one anyway. It's going to be like a funeral march for some of these folks tuning in. But it's like it was the first year of Brownie not being happy almost on a weekly basis. So it's nice to see the guy and everybody involved actually.
It's interesting people. It's interesting people looking at Brownie. I've just seen a comment there saying that he's never happy. He's varying degrees of less annoyed. He's not always. Trust me, he's not always happy. There's some things where Brownie will really surprise you. You'll go to him sometimes and you'll think, oh, he's going to say something like, it's obvious that he's going to say something, you know, really, really sort of positive about Leeds or whatever. And you just go to him, he'll just be like, I can't believe what's happened on this sort of stuff. So, yeah, he's unique as Brownie. He's a very good addition. Leighton, what have I missed? Brett, you've missed Brownie. So, you know, listen, mate, that's your problem. No, I'm joking. You can go back and watch the replay, mate, of this, of course. But yeah, Brownie's on giving his perspective. But overall, in the Leeds United sphere, Roberts looks like it's nearly done. Medical pending. Burnley brought in a right back, so that's going to be happening. Suter, Godfrey, Worrell, all up in the air when it comes to Leeds United, but I think Sheffield United and Leicester are playing hardball there. And apparently, there's rumours surfacing that Leeds are interested in Paul Dummett, which if they actually do that, I think you all want to see. If you all want to see me annoyed, Leeds sign Paul Dummett.
That's kind of why I want us to sign him, because he won't really impact the squad, but it'll be enough to just send your head into outer space.
Oh yeah, if they sign,
for me, is entertaining. For me, it gives me hours and hours of content.
If they sign Paul Dummett, my head will be in the bleachers, I think, because that will just really irritate me. Because I just don't understand that whatsoever. When you let Leo Yelder go, it makes no sense. But
what's this comment? You've missed Gabe glazing over Marsh.
Oh yeah, you have. Yeah, you forget that. Everyone, get Gabe's catchphrases in as well. Get Gabe's catchphrases in. There might be some there.
It's gonna be comma like. I do that American thing. I can hear when I stop to think, I say the word like, and I hate it, but I do it.
Yeah, and we've heard on here, Sam Rodon, Joe's brother, has tweeted out saying, "Hi pal, what's happening? What are you up to today? Fancy a cuppa?"
To who?
Connor Roberts.
Oh, Connor Roberts. I got it.
So
I just tweeted that out. I was like, all right, so Sam Rodon's losing fine. Got it.
There you go, Gabe. Your first one. The stats say.
I tend to say the data says more than the stats say, but I understand that's how that translates.
I think Lofts has got it spot on here. There is a lot of yeehaw from you.
Hell yeah, dude. Look at that. Things I actually don't say.
This is horrendous, by the way, from you. You've got to stop
outside
saying.
backs.
I've not pulled you up on this, but you have said it quite a lot.
But why is it wrong?
No, see, this is a problem with you. When people bring up what you say, you get all defensive. We're laughing at
I
me.
acknowledge I'm saying it.
No. Outside backs is just not said when it comes to English football. It's fullbacks or wingbacks, Gabe, not outside backs. We're not playing American football here.
So do center backs play on the inside or the outside?
No, but you're talking on a logistical standpoint here. I'm telling you that it's just not rhetoric. You just don't say it.
Wow.
We don't call central midfielders quarterbacks. It just doesn't happen. They do conduct games, but it doesn't happen.
But you don't play in a quarter position.
Still, same thing. Still same offense. I think it is.
Listen, I'm gonna stand on this one.
Save percentage. You do love save percentage. 50. Yeah, this is something. And Ted is American, I believe, as well. So he's pointed out you saying this quite a bit.
I've never said 50-yard line or huddle.
Wayne says
slander.
Inverted wing backs on the inside, Gabe.
They do when they're inverted.
Okay, all right. So, but yeah, I think we did. I think we did used to say inside. My granddad says, what does my granddad says? My granddad says, my granddad's 91, by the way. What does he call them? He calls centre backs half backs. Don't know why, but I think that's how they just used to say it back in the day, half backs. So it was like, we're going to get a half back, and he says wing backs all the time as well instead of full backs. So
yeah, right. Some folks in English still say centre half as well, which it rubs off on me every now and then.
Centre half, yeah. I don't know what I'd say. I think I'd say centre back. I think
me too, but sometimes I've caught myself saying centre half a couple times.
Please work says, so you do you. Keep it real for us Americans. Oh, mate, we're massive supporters on the channel of the Americans. We've got this guy on. We've had this guy on. For
you hear how they're trying to change me and mold me into some
Brit.
A Brit hybrid.
Yeah, 100%.
It's worked to some degree.
And yeah, for a lot of people asking about my mother being on stream and being on something called the Tea Brief.
The Tea Brief.
I've not
seen that. Bring it up.
I'm gonna say it to her now. Hold on.
The Tea Brief is amazing. Oh, the Tea Brief.
She says no. But yeah, there's my girlfriend as well. My girlfriend will not be shown on camera. I think we have a private life as well. The women in your life are not being shown on stream. That is not happening.
Stays off. OC Baseball 9's trying to wind me up, and I know he's trying to wind me up, but I've still let him. He said Chris Armas equals Gabe. I don't know if I've ever acerbically gone after someone the way I went after Chris Armas last year on this channel.
Yeah, I don't think
even Brownie was shocked. He's like, "You really don't like him?"
I don't think there's actually anyone who guarantee Leeds fans. I guarantee Leeds fans in the chat. There'll be one of you. There's nearly 700 of you watching. The guaranteed. Like, when they say Chris Armas, people are like, who? Chris Armas was actually part of the staff at Leeds under the Dunce that was in charge after Bielsa. So yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, Gabe, you do mention lateral defense roster quite a bit.
It's liable now.
Gabe, reveal the haircut. No, we're turning into just like whatever the chat says. We just do. We're turning into just. I don't even know. Well, I don't want to.
Giving the people what they want.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
But Super so let me answer you with this question. I do answer a question with a question quite a bit, Joe. So you're right.
Let me answer you with this question. Yeah. That's.
I get you into the Sicilian dilemma from Princess Bride. just tie you in knots.
Yeah. I'm trying to read. Have you ever seen what's his name on Twitter? Joe Tiffany.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Joe confirms stuff, and I'm just like, he's like, I know he watches the channel, so shout out to you, Joe. But he says, what's he said today? Are we using Joe as a source? I don't want to slander his name, but I don't really know what.
Interesting guy, because I don't know how he gets his material. Like, he doesn't claim to be a journalist.
No, right? He doesn't. He doesn't.
Like, he's honest, but he's not out there like dishonestly spinning or pretending he's something he's not. It's clear that he talks to sources of some kind, and then.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how reliable the sources are, one way or another. Yeah. But it seems that he does a lot of work behind the scenes to get what he thinks his scoops are. So I respect the grind.
Yeah, 100%. Joe seems like a good lad. He's very inoffensive. People get so offended, so offended by in the nose, don't they? So yeah, but I think he's reporting as he's heard. So it's quoting a quote. which is not him saying he's got this information. But I'm just going down this sort of list here, but it seems like talks ongoing with Forest over Joe Worrell. I don't think that's going to be the case, to be honest. I think it's dependent with Joe Worrell, Gabe, on us getting a permanent fee, and they're in FFP troubles. So look, we're going to have to get a permanent fee in there.
Yeah. Do you think he's worth it? I don't.
Worrell, I think if Worrell goes, Cooper goes, and potentially Cresswell goes as well.
No, but do you think he's worth bringing into the side, Worrell?
I've always
I don't rate him that highly.
No, I've always liked him, but I'm not like, if we didn't bring in Joe Worrell and kept hold of Liam Cooper, like, I think the upside of Worrell maybe is a little bit better long term, but I think the upside immediately you've got in Cooper. The thing is, Gabe, as Brownie was quite rightly saying, he just doesn't like him. He just doesn't like him, yeah. Liam Cooper. That's the whole thing. It's like, so what do you do there? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, he doesn't like him, but he's playing him as coverage. So, I mean, he's getting into the team when other players aren't available. I know that's not what Liam Cooper wants, but, I think Cooper's out in the summer anyway. So he may just decide, all right, I'm going to help the team as best I can as a leader. This place I've invested a lot of time and energy into, and then just go in the summer. That's what I think is more likely. What are you laughing about?
Nothing.
I told you, you're like a dinosaur in Jurassic Park when something's come up to the paddock.
We've hit an all-time low of Joe Tip as a source. Yeah, but he seems like...
Come on, leave Joe alone.
He just seems like a nice lad. He's just trying to put stuff on about Leeds. But yeah, I don't think he's... I don't know if that... The only reason I mentioned him is because he flashed up, but I don't think Joe ever professes to be like a in-the-know journalist, to be fair to him.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Mickey says, Gabe, it's 8:30 a.m. where you are. Are you okay? Yeah, he's all right. He's sprightly, aren't you, Gabe? You're up and ready. To be fair, it's got throughout this stream. It's nearly been sort of half an hour when Gabe's been on. I've seen the light just slowly go up where you are.
It's starting to increase a little bit. I woke up to a message. Right, you ready for the stream? I'm like, when? He said, now. All right.
Come on.
So I just kind of lurched over and sat down.
Yeah, get your ass into gear, Gabe. Whenever I call, it's no, Joe. I think it's a pseudo for some reason. I think somebody's just decided to join the chat.
Somebody joined? No, come on.
Yeah, I think somebody has. There you go. Banter, but no, it's definitely not. Put it that way.
Really strange.
Yeah, very odd.
What is the Stuart Dallas situation, Connor?
Ooh, the Stuart Dallas situation. It seems just Spike. I don't think he'll play for Leeds again. To be honest, I don't think he'll play for Leeds again.
I hope we're wrong on that, but yeah, I mean, he hasn't played in how long has it been since he's kicked the ball for us?
18 months, is it?
Yeah, it's just this. He's not young in these kind of injuries. I mean, maybe he comes back, but it reminds me of this player who used to play for Bolton called Stuart Holden. He was out for a couple of years. He came back on, and then he just broke his knee again. I know it's a different injury, but sometimes with these injuries, you don't really recover, and you don't really recover the type of resilient strength that you had before the initial injury.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, I guess, mate. That's the tea, isn't it? Really, I mean, we can go on till about 2:00, which is obviously going to be your end. It's probably going to be about 9:00, isn't it? But keep getting your comments in, and as I say, we've got a few bits coming in, when it comes to transfers. But I think we're just waiting at the minute, aren't we, mate? On Roberts getting that sign in, and it is going to go late, which is quite exciting for content creators, the fact that we can do this. But
we're also getting great ideas from the chat. Listen, I like this idea of having a monthly show called the Tea Brief.
What, with my mum?
No, not with your mum. With us just sitting with tea, maybe a picture of Jesse Marsh in the background.
Yeah, maybe it should be called the Tea Brief. If you want it to be called the Tea Brief instead of the debrief, we can do that, to be fair.
Oh, you're missing an opportunity for a whole new product here.
Maybe I am. Maybe this is what we need to do.
Like, sprightly violins in the background.
And the beauty about that is it is an addition from one of the followers as well. So listen, we're getting the interaction. Was it Wayne? Wayne's been a fan of the channel for a while. Steel S says, are you guys planning on meeting up one day? We have met up, believe it or not. Connor and Gabe, perhaps at a Leeds game. I reckon that, but when me and Gabe meet up again, will probably be if I was to go to the States at some point, which potentially could happen, dependent on financial situations. Because
we want to do the One Beach Fan Channel,
the One Beach Fan Channel,
from an actual beach here in the United States. I think that would be quality.
what we need to do is get Gabe over and just take him to like we need to make a vlog, like a whole vlogging series on taking Gabe to really shit English towns.
Just to the worst places in England. We'll start at Skinning Grove.
Yeah, and we'll end at Grimsby, and then we'll see what happens. But Grimsby Gabe, and you can see the little grin on his face. He definitely wants to do that.
Well, because it would be really funny, but also only funny for about 7 minutes of watching versus the hours and hours and hours of time we would put into it.
A guy messaged me the other day on Instagram saying, what is Gabe's link with Instagram? And I genuinely think that people, what is Gabe's link with Grimsby? I think people genuinely think that you are from Grimsby. I think it is now a thing.
Yeah, well, okay.
Let's have a look at some more
nothing
comments.
I can say anymore about the Grimsby link.
Yeah, just read Leeds are in for Paul Dummett. Let's hope not, Ty. Jesus Christ. Did you hear Cooper saying to the mascots the other week, if I was playing, we'd win? There was no response. I didn't hear that. I don't think Cooper would make the difference there, to be honest with you. I think Cooper's just a bit of a stopgap, isn't he? Gabe
I don't understand what he would mean by that. Maybe he was joking. I don't know. Maybe it is. Connor, I think extra content like football quiz style games would be good. Yeah, I think we've mentioned this about football quizzes. I think that'd be good. I guess it's how we do that as well. But yeah, I guess right now, mate, we'll leave it. We'll come back on a little bit later on. We'll probably do it at about 4 or 5-ish. Maybe get a few other faces on. Oscar's going to be joining us a little bit as well, so we'll probably get a debrief sort of reaction to what's going on. Might be getting another little guest on as well. Brownie might join us as well, which should be good. But as of right now, I'm sure we're going to be back. We're going to be back with streaming a little bit, guys. So thank you. Make sure you watch it. When you're doing the phone-ins again, says Paul, we may do it, mate, even tonight. If you guys want to come on, give your thoughts on Leeds. Gabe, if you want to join me for that, we might go from sort of like 9, 10 o'clock. Don't know what the day is going to be there. We'll figure it out. Or if it's just me on here, we will do a phone-in. I think that's a really good idea. So if you guys want to come on, give your thoughts on deadline day, you can pop on. It wouldn't be... Yeah, it can be anyone really. So make sure you join in for that. But we will see you in a little while. All right. Cheers.